Hello everyone. Welcome to your weekly forecast for July 15th through the 21st. Today we're going to look at the transits for this week and I'm going to tell you what they mean. So let's get right into it. On Monday, November, jumping ahead a little bit, Monday, July 15th, we've got Mars in Taurus making a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus. And so this is something that has kind of already manifested a little bit over the weekend with current events. Mars and Taurus, or not Taurus, Mars and Uranus's like primary things being, a lot of energy, perhaps even violence. And Uranus and Taurus are two things. I can't wait for that planet to leave that sign because they twist my tongue up like no other. Um, but yeah, Uranus's whole thing is being unpredictable and unexpected. So for my notes, because I took these notes ahead of time before this weekend, before I knew anything that would happen, I wrote, you might have unexpected energy today. Try to use it productively and avoid conflict. Learn to utilize your passion. And so I think with Mars, I like to think about passion and how that relates to how it's expressed, because I think people express passion differently. And yeah, it'll be important to learn how to utilize that in a way that makes sense for you and is healthy for you so that it doesn't get mistaken as aggression or, trying to start some kind of conflict. And that's it for Monday, the 15th. It's kind of a quiet day, um, as far as the amount of transit's concerned. We'll see how loud it actually is when we get there. So on to the 16th, Tuesday, July 16th, Tuesday. We have, the moon is doing a lot today. There's a lot of planets. It's going to be hitting a lot of other planets, so I'm just going to go through my little list and then we'll get into what it means. Overnight, the moon in Scorpio is going to make a trine to Saturn retrograding in Pisces. It is also going to make a square to Mercury in Leo. And then by the morning, it's going to make a trine to the Sun in Cancer. And then an opposition to that Mars and Uranus conjunction in Taurus. And then towards the evening, it's going to make a trine to Neptune retrograding in Pisces before it finally goes into Sagittarius. And after the moon moves into Sagittarius, it will make a sextile to Pluto retrograding in Aquarius. It's a lot going on. And there's a lot of water energy going on. So today might be kind of an emotional day. There's some tension around communicating your feelings. So taking extra time to journal or process will go a long way. And so maybe with that Mars and Uranus conjunction in Taurus, it's building up a lot of energy and we need some kind of outlet for it. And yeah, we want to learn how to handle those emotions in a good and a healthy way. So maybe some of the same things that you're learning to utilize your passion for on Monday, you can apply on Tuesday to other feelings too. That's it for Tuesday. Now we're moving on to Wednesday, July 17th. The moon in Sagittarius is going to make a trine to Venus and Leo. It's going to make a trine to the North Node in Aries. And it's also going to make an opposition to Jupiter in Gemini. So on this Wednesday, it's a good day for adventure and trying new things, but be wary of overindulgence. And so with that opposition to Jupiter and Gemini, especially with the moon being in Sagittarius and with Gemini, that's a lot of it's a lot of talk, it's a lot of fantasy, it's a lot of dreaming. It's very Jupiter loves to expand things and grow things. It's not critical of them, it just loves growing them. And so try to not to overindulge, but do go on a little adventure. See where it will take you. See where the grandeur of Jupiter, what it can bring for you. And that's it for Wednesday. On Thursday, July 18th, Moon in Sagittarius is going to make a square to Saturn retrograding in Pisces. It is also going to make a trine to Mercury in Leo, and the Sun in Cancer is going to make a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So Thursday, um, today's a good day to break through obstacles. You want to use your wit to transform tension into progress. And so we talked earlier, earlier this week about learning how to process your emotions in a healthy way and process your passion in a healthy way and seeing how far that can get you. Um, and today's kind of adding on to that. I think with the sun sextile to Uranus, it's a good opportunity to try to break some boundaries, try to beat your high score or your record. Try to do a little bit more, challenge yourself a little bit today because I think it would be a good day for that. Yeah. And you want to be clever about it. Don't challenge yourself in a way that's not going to make sense. Like, if you want to see how fast you can do the dishes and then you feel really good about that and that's a fun little competition challenge for you, then that's great. But if you're also, if you're on the other hand, if you're the kind of person who just wants to take their time and enjoy the process, then maybe it would be a challenge to slow down, see how much you can enjoy things. I'll let you figure out how you want to apply that. But that'll be the 18th on Thursday. And so next we have Friday the 19th. Um, right before the moon enters Capricorn and leaves Sagittarius, it's going to make a square to Neptune and Pisces at 29 degrees. So just, right at the edge there. Then it will enter Capricorn, and then after that, it's going to make a square to the North Node in Aries. And the same day, Venus and Leo is going to make a trine to the North Node in Aries. So be careful not to dream too big, because with that moon squaring Neptune, it makes me think that, maybe some of the adventuring that you've been doing the last few days, exploring Jupiter, seeing what that's been having you get into. You want to make sure it's very grounded. There's a lot of grounded energy today. The moon is going to move into Capricorn, and a practical viewpoint is going to get you really far. And so we kind of had our little emotional time earlier this week, and then by Friday, it's like, okay, what are we going to do about it? Like, we need to move forward. We need to have our hands and our feet on the ground, and we need to, get into this and make it real, not just a fantasy. We need to make things real. So that'll be Friday. And after Friday, we have Saturday, July 20th. This Mars in Taurus is going to make a sextile to Neptune in Pisces. And then later in the day, it's going to enter Gemini. Mars will enter Gemini. And at the same time, we've got the moon in Capricorn making a sextile to Saturn retrograding in Pisces. So let me look at my notes. Today's a good day to get creative. Get creative and see where it takes you. Um, I was just talking about making things real and, not just living in the fantasy and in the emotions and experiencing them, processing them in a healthy way, but then bringing it to the ground and doing something with it. And so I feel like that Mars making a sextile to Neptune as it's exiting Taurus and entering Pisces, or exiting Taurus and entering Gemini. Um, it just feels like that's working with your hands. Whenever I think of Gemini, that rules over the hands in medical astrology. And with Mars and Gemini, it just feels, you're using your hands and you're using your words. And so you're not just thinking about things, you're not just fantasizing about them, you're talking about them, you're seeing where you can make it fit in your life. And it's a good day for that, especially with the moon making a sextile to Saturn as well. Um, and this whole week is kind of building up to Sunday, the next day. Sunday, July 21st. It's a huge day in the sky. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna read it all. The biggest thing to note for this is that there's a full moon in Capricorn, and it's at 29 degrees, so it's only going to be full in Capricorn for a little bit, and then it's going to move into Aquarius, and it'll still be full in both places, but the exact place where it goes full is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So here's what's going on. We've got the moon in Capricorn. As it's becoming full, it's going to make a trine to Uranus and Taurus. It's going to be opposing the sun in Cancer, because that means it's full. It's going to make a sextile to Neptune and Pisces, and then it's going to go into Aquarius. And once it enters Aquarius, it's going to make a trine to Mars and Gemini, who just entered there yesterday. It's going to conjunct Pluto, who is still retrograding at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And then it's going to make a sextile to the North Node in Aries. And so that's what we've got the moon going on with the moon. Venus is going to make a sextile to Jupiter and Gemini. Mercury in Leo is going to make a square to Uranus and Taurus. The Sun in Cancer will make a trine to Neptune and Pisces. And Mars in Gemini is going to make a trine to Pluto and Aquarius. So there's a lot going on. Like, there's like a whole, almost like a fourth of my little notebook filled up just writing the transits alone. Um, and whenever there's a lot going on like that, I feel like someone is listening to it, and especially if they're not well versed in astrological terminology, then it just sounds like a bunch of like gibberish. Like none of it makes any sense. None of the words I just used are like normal words that you would use. And so if you find yourself getting kind of lost when I'm going through all of that, me too, because it's not plain English, it's not plain any language that I speak. It's kind of own thing. And so, my actual notes for what I wanted to get across today is say more by saying less, allow your actions to speak for you. And so I can talk a lot about the transits and about what's going on and what each individual one might mean about how, the full moon is going to hit so many different spots and move into another sign. But I think what would make the most sense and what would actually stick with you, because it's what actually stuck with me, is just allowing our actions to speak for us. And so we talked this week about being a little emotional, using our passions, figuring out ways to process those emotions, and then going, relaxing a little bit, going on a little adventure, bringing it down to earth, realizing how can we use this to ground ourselves. And Sunday, it's kind of coming full circle. It's kind of like you've done all the processing, you've done all the talking, you've done everything that you can do, and now it's just time to let your actions speak for themselves. And honestly, that's it for Sunday. I didn't want to get too long. It's just a little week, and so we're gonna stop here. Thank you everyone for watching. I've got some exciting stuff coming up for next week and for the month of August as well. Make sure you check out my website, rayoflightastrology.com, if you'd like any info about my practice or more info about how to book with me. Thank you everyone. Stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you next week.